Yes. So, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Saturdays for Sustainability Learning, where we are connecting to understand sustainability topics in a better way, in a holistic way. And this is nothing but a mastermind group works on a concept of synergy, which is about learning from each other, contributing for each other's learning. And on the screen, as you can see, this is a basic idea about mastermind group. And it's just one thing I'll read. No two minds ever come together without thereby creating a third invisible, intangible force which may be likened to a third mind. So when two minds come together for the purpose, it's not just one plus one, two. There is a always far better, far more benefits for all the parties that are involved. So hopefully we will get the benefits and some of the outcomes that you can expect from this next 1 hour, 60 minutes is learning a new concept or learning different viewpoints from different people. That's definitely. Second is networking with fellow professionals, understanding different viewpoints of people having different geographical, educational, work experience. So that's really fascinating to know. Third is about getting to know about different learning opportunities and career opportunities. And the last one is about thought leadership because anyway, sustainability, sustainable development, ESG will be the topic of discussion in next decade. We can rest assured for that. And if we get the proper understanding of it, definitely we can lead the discussion in future. So what is the idea of this discussion? If you are joined for the first time, I'll just quickly share. This is the DIKW pyramid, data, information, knowledge, wisdom. In today's time, we have more data, more information than we can possibly consume. But what we lack is the knowledge and wisdom. So that's what we can get from the experience of the people. And this is the this is the podium or this is the method through which we can collaborate and we can arrive at different discussions and get to know about it. And the second thing is question and answer is always the best way to learn. So I'll again request everyone, please participate, please share your viewpoints. There is no wrong answer. This is a non-judgmental discussion forum that we want to build. So don't hesitate to speak up, share your experience, share what you think about it for the topic or anything that you want to raise. So there's just a request before we start. And yeah, so I'll just skip this part because anyway we are covering it. So how you have joined? So if you have registered yourself, maybe only one time, that's enough. That's how the sustainability of your joining will be ensured. You will get the calendar invite and the WhatsApp group, and that's how the reminders will be given to you. So if you haven't, so please do so. I'll also share this link at the end of the session. Yeah, so today's topic, which is interview preparation for ESG or sustainability. So we will talk about around 30-40 minutes on this topic. And then I've kept one BRSR report of one company that is Thermax. So maybe if we get time, we will go to it. Otherwise, I'll share the report and maybe we can share our findings or observations in the group. But yeah, let's start on this week 56. 31st August 2024. So it's an interesting day, and this was a request for one of our members to have this topic. And let's see. So I had shared two articles with you, which I thought there are multiple articles about this interview preparations. I'll quickly share some of them on the screen. Give me just a minute. And two of them that I think will be useful, most useful for us, and that I had shared in the group. Just a minute, I'm sharing my screen now. And I hope you can see my screen, right? It's Google Chrome that I'm sharing. So these are the two articles which I found to be useful for preparing the interview questions. And this is a very, I guess, pertinent question for all of us. Many of the people every day I get some of the comment on YouTube. So please share how to prepare for interview and all. And in our group also, we see that most of us are always having this question: what to prepare, how to prepare, which is the best resource. Is there anything that we can do to increase the chances of success at the interview? So hopefully this discussion will help us to prepare well. And yeah, so these are the two articles that I had shared. But I would prefer this one instead of the 60 questions. We'll go to it later. But the second one, which is ESG interview questions, I like this because in this article they have given the good response and the bad response as well. So instead of just reading this, what I would expect if we can have a discussion around this topic, and if anybody would like to share their viewpoints or their experience, please, that will be great and that will add a lot of value to this discussion. Okay, wonderful. So I hope you can see the question. First question that you can see is define ESG and its importance to investors, or maybe define sustainability and its importance to investors. So that can be question. And the the way to answer is clearly define each component of ESG and explain why investors increasingly consider ESG factors when making investment decisions. Highlight the correlation between ESG practice and long-term financial performance. Because wherever we are applying, so it's business for profit, and financial performance or long-term financial performance is always important for the profit-making company. So our role as a, let's say, interviewee is to understand this, how sustainability or ESG impacts the uh, financial performance, financial decisions of the organization, and that's how I guess we can answer this question in a better way. So I'll read the good response that they have given. ESG stands for environmental, social, and governance, representing a set of standards for a company's operations that socially conscious investors use to screen potential investments. Environmental criteria consider how a company performs as a steward of the natural environment. Social criteria examine how it manages relationships with employees, suppliers, customers, and communities. Governance deals with a company's leadership, executive pay, audit, internal controls, and shareholder rights. Investor value ESG because companies with strong ESG scores often have lower risk and better long-term performance. So it's just a model answer. And what I would recommend is whenever you are applying for any organization, so first look at their website, research their website, and accordingly you can prepare the response. There is no one solution fits all answer that we have. You have to fine tune the answer because maybe they, as per the different sector, the answer might change, or maybe the depth of answer might change. So here, as you can see, the most of the answer is basic. What is ESG, right? And the last sentence is about how it can be helpful for the financial performance as well, or investors as well. What is a bad response example given is ESG is about companies being green and ethical. Investors like it because it's trendy. So the negative connotation is given by, let's say, it's a trendy and that's how you have to do it. So somehow it's telling the interviewer that you are not really into ESG or sustainability, and it's mandated, and that's how you want to do it. And as we can see, it lacks the basic details about ESG, and that's why I guess it's a bad response. So anyway, just replying in one sentence is always bad in interview. That's what the basic that we know. All right. So before going further, anybody would like to add anything to this question? What is your viewpoint, and do you agree with whatever given in this article, or is it okay?
Dhananjay sir, I just now I joined, but
Uh-huh.
by reading the first few lines, I feel like instead of answering from investors' point of view, we
Mm-hmm.
can express it from company's point of view as well.
Mm-hmm.
What ESG stands for a company. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not only about investors. So that is like I haven't go through the full answer. Just I joined 2 minutes back only.
Also,
Right.
also, it sounds robotic, like the
Mm-hmm.
response
Yeah.
can be, we need some emotions in the answer.
Yeah. And what I see is most of the answers, whatever you search on internet, so that would be robotic, because most of the answers that I could see, these are generated by AI. Uh, so that's true. And yes, and as you said, so to solve this issue, what we can do is, so maybe we can add examples in the answer. So let's say if we have asked define ESG and its importance to investors, and to answer the Priyanka's question, why investor is there? Because the question was about investors. So maybe they have looped investor everywhere in the answer. But yeah, agree. If we are asked about ESG, so we should not say about investors only. We should be talking about all the organizations.
Also, once you're done with the questions, I will like to add a different perspective, which
Sure.
through my experience, whatever I've seen. Once you're done.
Sure. Okay, perfect. So, yeah, so one thing that we can do is to avoid the being sounding robotic. So we can add some examples. So maybe we can quote one company name which we have worked or we have researched about it, and we can share that they are doing in this way, and that's how it's important. And maybe if you can quote some number, some research paper which shows that how it has benefited to that organization. So that's always better. Next, move to second question. How do environmental factors influence investment decisions? So it's about environmental issues like climate change, resource depletion, and pollution, and how they can affect a company's risk profile, regulatory compliance, and potential for future growth. So it's nothing but a case for, let's say, environmental conservation or environmental considerations that you should have. So as you can see, a good response. I'll not read everything because we have a lot to cover, but at least we'll get to know what kind of questions are there, and if we can share our thoughts and our input, so that would be great. Okay, describe a social issue that impacts corporate performance. The best way to answer this question would be select a social issue such as the labor practices, diversity and inclusion, or consumer protection, and explain its potential impact on a company's brand reputation, employee satisfaction, and customer loyalty. Uh, so as you can see the answer, and one of the example that comes to my mind is, I guess 3-4 years back there was a protest in Amazon or which organization, where their employees protested about the waste that the organization generated for the packing material. So I guess it was Amazon. Anybody recollect that? But it was in news for some time. So maybe we can quote such kind of example which highlights the understanding of the topic. But yeah, you can also quote about diversity, inclusion, or consumer protection, and the practical side of it, how you can justify it. Yes, Bandaru, please. You have raised your hand, please.
Mm. Good evening, all. Yeah, describe the social issue that impacts the corporate performance. The thing is that I want to explain with a small example as per my knowledge. If there is a generally big companies like there is a union members and the non-union members, they are fighting for their wage payments. Is that will come to a social issue or any other thing? Like that is my question. Whether anyone can give me a good answer for that. They pay, they are fighting for their wage repayment or facilities they provide. They want to upgrade to their positions. Is that coming into the social issue or any other kind?
Yeah, thanks for that question. Anybody would like to take it?
Kulkarni sir,
Yes, sir, please.
yeah, it is a social issue. So when we look at social issue, we are looking at it in two different ways. One is the social issue, general societal issue, as we say, like CSR and other things. The other thing is about the rights related issues, human rights related issues. In this case, when the company has a union and they are fighting for their rights, it is basically a fundamental right of the workers. Any company is required to ensure that the freedom of association or the associational rights are not denied to the workers. It is something fundamental. So, it is for the workers to decide whether they want to have a union or no union, and management has no right to interfere in the process. Now, if the company has a union and they are doing the collective bargaining process, or they are agitating because of the attitude of the management, or because they are not satisfied with the process, they have the right to agitate. And it is for the organization to address this in an amicable manner to see to it that both the management and the workers derive benefit out of the process. So that is why it is a collective bargaining process where the bargaining has to ensure a win-win situation for both the management and the workers. Okay, Kulkarni sir.
Yes, perfect, perfect.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, wonderful. So next is explain the governance aspect of ESG. So as you can see, most of the questions are, which we can see till now, it's about the basic understanding of ESG. And I would recommend, if we have the basic understanding why it is important, how it contributes to the organizations or companies' performance, and maybe if you could read more about the organization's maybe website and their sustainability report, so from there you can get the better insight. And one tip that I can share with you, which I followed while two or three of my previous interviews, and which I got success, and that's how I got into the current organization, is uh, let's say if we want any job role, we can research about organization and we can create a short PPT. That's a rare thing to do, but it adds value. So maybe you can just list out what you can contribute to that organization, to that role, and you just share it to the hiring manager. And for me, it has worked. So for last maybe 2 3 times, it worked. So when I sent it, they found it interesting and they called for an interview. So I guess if you have time and if you really want to get into one organization, so I guess this is something that you can also explore. But that requires the understanding what exactly is required in that job role, and maybe if you can provide some innovative solution to that position to solve some of the issues, so I guess the job is yours in that case. But you can also explore if if that can be. So yeah, let's move ahead then. So explain the governance aspect of ESG, discuss the importance of good governance practice, including transparency, ethical behavior, accountability, and building investor confidence and supporting sustainable growth. Yeah, so just the basic thing what we can say. Yes, yes, Bandaru, please.
So the answers were somewhat what other people are saying. It's some kind of robotic or like the AI generated. Can and you explain with a small example like what is a transparency, ethical behavior? It would be a good for understanding for
Right.
that's the thing. So because the answers which you have, which are in this program were somewhat AI generated or a written document like that. So that if a small example is there, it is easy to understand. It's the thing from my side.
Right, right. So what I understand from this is, let's see. Yes, if you want to take it, please.
Yeah, so my another aspect to add to this is what now we are looking at question wise, right? So then it becomes too structured for us, but interviews are not that structured unless they are
Right.
having that kind of Mostly it is a story, right? Like you have attended 3-4 interviews, you said, right? And so you have a story to tell, right? If the ESG people who are in the ESG sector who are giving such interviews can share their stories with others and build up on that, how what happens, how what, like you shared now, right, about that PPT. That's a story that is more important than these questions, I feel.
Right.
And if we can create that repository of those experiences and share with the freshers and the younger crowds, that will be amazing. Because guidance is always, we also have faced this, right? Guidance is missing in colleges and universities. We learned the hard way through trial and error.
Right.
So that is what is needed.
Yeah. Thanks a lot for
Siddhesh
adding.
sir, I
Thank you,
have
sir. Thank
one suggestion over here. So I haven't faced any interview or anything, but like coming from a college, yeah, I am Mumbai, so and I am working in ESG lab. So I met
Right.
some of the ESG people, like some top management people. So their common question is like, ESG all the basic knowledge in ESG domain, like everybody now becomes a ESG expert and claiming that they are ESG expert.
Yeah.
But the main thing is everybody is talking in theory terms.
Yeah.
So what what like how you can what is its implication in like, do you have any metrics, or can you tell something mathematical or something in number, or what is your interpretation of like how you analyze ESG? So the analysis is very important.
Yeah.
That
True,
is
true.
one thing that like I know.
Agree.
Also, as I keep saying, last time also, I was like, if they have projects to show, right? When you go for an interview, you have projects to show, and you talk. So no one will be go through these detailing questions, because then they will be focusing on your project, and they will ask more questions, Acha, to show me how you have performed this kind of analytics, Acha, what you did, and then everything will revolve around that question, your project. So you have more confidence in answering rather than getting some random ESG questions. That is
Right.
what, yeah, I feel. So students should work more on projects and gain knowledge through those projects, and
one thing,
yeah.
yeah, one thing is like, if you have some ESG data from like if you able to get some ESG data of some company, so how you interpret it? Like what is the mathematical model that you have used, or how you interpret that particular thing? So that those are some of the questions. For example, there are multiple databases like which do this ESG rating, like this MSCI, this Thomson's Reuters. So there are Bloomberg. So they have used some methodology, but they don't we cannot get it in like, we don't know the methodology, what they have, like how they weighted these particular ES and G indicators. So there we can do something. So that is something a project type of thing.
Right.
Right. But here I want to add one thing. It would not be a same, means the preparation and the kind of question would not be same for everyone. Right. So it would be highly dependent on which role you are applying and what is your expertise.
Yeah.
So maybe someone who is into, let's say, research, or who is, let's say, designing this kind of processes. So maybe for them, the more technical details would be required. But for those who are into, let's say, implementation, or maybe we can say, let's say, EHS person who has on ground experience of how do we improve the performance, how do we collect data. So there are different skill set which are required, and maybe uh, you need to have clarity on your role, your expertise, and accordingly you can prepare the interview.
That's where I keep saying, right? If that individual has a vision towards what kind of problem statements they are interested in solving in the ESG sector, right? Like suppose someone is interested in social problems, right? Like the labor we saw. So everyone has their interest areas. So if they are really interested in solving the problem, they should take it as a project and do it end to end, and then communicate about it.
Right.
It's all about branding. Branding is a wrong term, but it's about how you articulate and share what you know and what skill set you have to the world. Because CV is not just going to help now in today's world. It is to work 15 years back. Okay, you know this technology or that. but today you have to talk what you're doing. It matters.
Right.
At least it shows that you have the what you say, the passion to work in that. Even if you don't know, you will figure it out, because at least you are passionate to solve that problem.
Right. Agree. And the way you said branding, I would just rename that term. It's a win-win-win
Yeah.
solution seeking, maybe, because interviewer also want to close this position as early as.
Yeah. So
And
I
I
can
think
give I can
yeah.
just give one example.
please.
Suppose I am the from HR. Okay, I get 10 people. Okay, with the same certifications done, because I see a lot of certification talk going on the WhatsApp group. With a lot of equal number of everyone has done the same certifications. Everyone has done same things, same skills, everything. But one person comes with at least one concrete project, and he can talk and present and show the data and analytics, graphs, everything. Whom I'm going to choose? I'm going to choose that person, and that is what is my experience with respect to in the IT field, at least. So um, uh, if you have a project to show, you will surpass every one other person.
Right.
And Siddesh sir, I think it has two angles. Like if you are selecting a person for implementation role, then you will go somebody like ESG analyst or somebody. Then you will be searching for projects and this AI and Python and that kind of coding thing. But there is a role of strategy level also. Like this ESG, it requires formulations, that strategy planning, and that the top management thing. So there you need a different kind of holistic requirements. So there you don't want a person who is like uh, that you're getting me, that ESG analyst
No,
person.
so when I say project, it doesn't mean IT project. Project can be anything that you have worked on. If you have worked on a report, or you have, project can be anything, right? It's not specific to IT, Python, or anything. It is about the
We can
work
define a project as
like if you're in college, you are working on you decided, okay, I'm going to focus on 10 top companies, and I'm going to see their last 5 years ESG report, and I'm going to talk about them, and I'm going to present them to the, it's like that. So that can be also those kind of projects also one can.
perfect.
Yeah, got it.
Perfect. So we can define a project as a project is something tangible. Maybe you can show it in the interview, your skills, and maybe application of your skills and your competency. A tangible product or whatever you can design and showcase that in the interview. And as you rightly said, Siddesh, so the example that you gave, I just want to elaborate more on it because let's say there is a person who is a new, let's say, new entrant into ESG and haven't got yet the opportunity to work in ESG. That's fine. Everyone gets first opportunity without experience in any the first time, right? But let's take an hypothetical case that that person is applying in IT organization, IT company, IT sector. But before applying, what that person does is that person checks the sustainability report, reads the sustainability report for all the IT companies, at least the top IT companies, which are the competitor of that organization where the interview is planned. And maybe share some of the learnings from that, create a short PPT, create a short Word document, and along with, let's say, a resume, if that person shares it with the interviewer. So I'm very sure the interviewer would also like to know about where their organization stands compared to their competitors, what they are doing better. And maybe in interview, you can showcase your skills that I have analyzed this, I know about this. And it's not about, let's say, wherever you stand. So whatever your skill set is, maybe environmental, maybe social, maybe governance, maybe EHS, whatever it may be. But if you can find out whatever is of your interest and your expertise from that report and share something about that in the interview. So I guess the selection chances would be higher. What others think about it? So do you agree with it, or what's your take?
Yeah, I totally agree. It's all about, I think it's all about, what you can present more than what you can know, what you know. That's what I feel.
Kulkarni sir.
Yes. Yes, Mulian sir, please.
Sir, I find particularly two issues when it comes to ESG. People who are into environment science or whatever, environment management or other backgrounds, they are weak in social, or they know nothing about governance. Somebody has an MBA, if you see, he or she knows more about governance, board, companies, etc., but nothing to do with what is a water footprint, what is a carbon footprint, what is the significance today, like that. So what is happening is that people think ESG means, okay, if I specialize in this, I can go around playing around with the terms and I can just talk about these issues, etc. What is lacking today is that though people do many courses and trainings and whatnot, the basic fundamental things are not clear to them. This is what I see. Like
Right.
if you talk to people, I have done a course on carbon footprint, etc. People say, when I ask them, what do you think the Paris Agreement is required to do, and how do you think the company has to prepare for it?
Right.
They are zero. They know scope 1, scope 2, all big things. Okay.
Right. Right.
You talk about BRSR report, SEBI and whatnots. Okay, what do you think is the importance of board of directors? What are the challenges to them? If you ask, okay,
Right.
somebody is expected to know what constitutes a board, what is the functioning of the board, what is the recent law, like for example, inclusion of a lady member in the board, and
Right.
how they can be taken to task if they just do some greenwashing type, etc. So these fundamental things, I mean, people don't concentrate
Right.
looking into the changes which are happening in the market situation.
Right.
Okay. So what is happening? They use jargons, Dow Jones or MSCI, etc., etc.
Right.
What is the difference between Dow Jones and MSCI? If somebody asks, they don't know.
Right.
Okay. They say, okay, we are sustainability reporting, etc., etc. Okay, what is the difference if you think? Is GRI better or UN Global Compact better? For example, if somebody asks, they don't know anything about UN Global Compact. So what is happening is that uh, basic knowledge or fundamental requirements of understanding. For example, in one of the companies, they asked a person, okay, what is the difference you think is between a hazardous waste and a non-hazardous waste? Okay, simple.
Right.
She found it very difficult to answer, right? So, what becomes important in today's condition is that not only exhibition of your degree or your qualification, etc., and your attitude or passion, those are all the soft issues. Hard issues is that we have to know what is happening now, the basics.
Right.
And whatever you may show as a course, okay, what is the difference between product carbon footprint and an organizational carbon footprint? Why should we do that? They don't know. This is what I see when I interact with people and who say they have done programs and qualification and other things. So what I meant to say is, anybody interested, they have to, number one, go to basics. What is the significance of this, and why is it that it is essential? How it is going to have an impact or a repercussion to the company if they don't take care of it. In addition to that, Of course, whatever our other people explained, they are also required. But what I find is all do this grazing of the subject without depth. So what happens is, even though you get a job in ESG, within 6 months you get exposed, right? You get
Right.
bleached, your color goes because they know that you don't have any funda. So this
Right.
is something which the skill, when we look at it, will have to be constantly be upgraded to know the conditions which are prevailing, the market changes which are happening, and all is supported with the fundamentals. This is what I feel. I mean, is
So,
essential in today's context.
Murli sir, great inputs as always. I'm really like what inputs you give. So I just wanted to ask a question regarding that. So, uh, what should students do in their college days? What kind of projects? Because I believe while working on a project, they should understand all these basics. And because it becomes application oriented, like rather than learning oriented. So, what kind of projects they should work on? So that they understand these concepts in depth while they are in college. Because through experience, they might or might not, but at least in college, professors can at least help them to figure out things. So should they work on some bigger projects, or what exactly they can do so that these concepts become more clear? Also, do you feel that the clarity of understanding the climate crisis we are going through is necessary, or uh, because I believe many are not able to understand that because they either lack the systems thinking knowledge, or I don't know, but the what exactly is wrong with the planet and what is happening, so how you will uh, help students to understand what is going on, what we can do. Yes. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, Udesh.
Yeah, yes.
Could hear you. Yeah.
Because
Um,
then we can decide based on that, what kind of projects they can work on so that their basics are clear.
all right. So Murli sir, are you speaking? If you're speaking, you're muted. We are not able to hear you.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah.
No, if, for example, if somebody takes up a project, the basic thing is that, okay, I have done a project on reducing water footprint, for example, in a company. Now, if the interviewer or whoever it is asks, how did you go about? What is the significance of water footprint in today's context? Do you know of any company who has achieved this? What are the challenges you expect? Now, if these things are not known, but you say, no, no, we did as per ISO 14,060 or whatever it is, and we calculated this, we took the data and software, all these things, he is able to see through whether you are clear in the fundamentals. So, what becomes important is, in addition to doing a project, what is essential is that the why of things, the importance of whatever the terms are, the process which is being done, and why it is being done, that has to be really be understood if somebody wants to progress in the field, because there are too many changes happening, and with the legal side plus the technology side and the science wise, if you see that new changes are happening, and it is very difficult for anyone, whoever it is, to know everything about ESG, and who is like an authority type. Some of the things we may know based on our experience. So what is important is, within that experience, whatever we have gained, one has to be strong in the fundamentals. This is what again I am emphasizing. People don't read the definitions and fundamentals and other things, but they just get into the realm of standards, the things and whatnots, various other things. So what happens is that lack of knowledge, or you get exposed in that, and that is where I would say many people fail in the interviews or other things. Though, I mean, it's more of ESG being glamour. They think that we have to talk high or use hi-fi terms and whatnots. But if they don't know the basics, it becomes a problem, not only in the interview, but after joining a company to execute things or get things done, it becomes a challenging task for people. This is my personal view, and based on with the interactions I have with many people, the youngsters who are there, and they talk to me, and I just tell them these things. So this is something which one has to focus on, because a lot of changes are happening and it becomes very difficult to update things. So this is my simple view, or I don't know, I won't say as an advice, but it is something which anybody has to take care of it and build up those fundamentals or the basic concept and the knowledge, and know what is happening. Now, if today somebody asks, which do you think, which board of directors company faced a problem? Why? If you are not able to explain this, then you don't know anything about governance. That is what is the conclusion people draw. So we need to update information and also knowledge about these areas. They may be new, and we are not going to master them. So it is like equivalent to say that we have in buffet lot of items. One is that you taste some items and leave others, or you try to taste all the items and find out how it tastes. So what is required in ESG is that you have to do justice in tasting all these items, not only taste but also evaluate. So that is what becomes important. And I don't know, I find this thing lacking in many people, because I find a lot of ESG people who are with not to this thing, but they don't have an idea about uh, environment or any other issues. They are basically with some computer science background or data science, and they say they are experts. So when I talk to them, it becomes a problem for them. So it is required that everything is taken care of. Okay, sir.
Yeah, very, very true.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So what Dhananjay can be done, at least colleges can do is they can, like create this kind of project repositories and or at least the problem statements, and students should work on those and learn those skills through that, I believe, so that they learn more. And also, as Murli sir said, that uh, the they should know the basics for sure.
Yeah, and it again comes to the basic question that in our schooling or in college, so whether you are studying for just marks or grades, or you are just studying for getting the knowledge, so that's the real question. Same can be translated to the interviews, whether you are just studying or doing this courses just for the sake of cracking the interview, or just or in reality you want to understand what ESG is, what sustainability is, and you want to positively contribute to the role. Understanding properly. As sir said, I really like the example of the buffet, where different dishes are there. So you have to also test, and again that can be told in a different way, as we discussed in previous session. T-shaped skills, right? So you should know a lot of things, but at the same time you should go deep into some of your strengths. So I guess uh, it all comes to the basic, the integrity, whether you want to go deep into one of the topic, and whatever you are, let's say, telling in interview, whether it is true or not. So yeah, so that's what I got from the discussion. Yes. Yes, Amol. So we all agree 100%. Yeah. It's a pearl of wisdom. Yeah. Yes, Bandar, you want to say something, please?
Mm. So, Murli sir, thank you for your valuable information. What you said, there is a water management, like how you take the footprints of water management, like that you have stated, sir. The thing is that we are practicing with this zero liquid discharge installation, erection of desalination plants, and making it is a kind of project for me as a fresher. It's a kind of project so that I can go with it or not, sir. From my side, it's my question.
Yes. Bandar, I couldn't hear you properly, but
Yeah,
I guess
same
it
same
was
here.
comment, right? Yeah.
Was it a question or I think I
It's not a kind of question, sir. Is this a water management like water footprint statement? This is the way we should take the reports or we should take the project. Is this is the way or any other way we should follow it?
Sorry, I couldn't get exactly what you were saying.
I think
Sir,
it means I think so some audio issues, I think.
sir, right now I'm audible, sir.
Yeah, right now, yeah.
Hmm. The thing is that we are following zero liquid discharge process, and we are planning to install the desalination plants, and we are trying to reuse the water which we use for the processes. And is this where we should report the water footprints or water energy management? Is this where to report for the if anybody asks the question, what is the water footprints or water management to follow in your company to control this? Is this the way we should answer?
Yes, I would say you can, but that would not be only answer. So maybe that would be more specific to your plan. But yeah, I'll leave it to Murli sir, please.
Yeah, that is a way to begin,
Mm.
right? But what becomes important is that, okay, you have done a project, you have put a desalination plant or looking at water footprint or coming up with, zero liquid discharge or efforts. So what is required is, what is the technology you have used? What are the challenges you faced? What was the purpose of the choice of those equipments or other things? How did you evaluate these things? So these are some basics which one has to know. But what happens is that because we are project people, we look at, okay, have you installed the equipment, RO process? Does it work? And what is the efficiency? Is it giving the right quality of water? And how much reduction has happened? That's all we know. But we do not know about the company who is the supplier, how that product or the equipment is superior to other products, because that is all handled by purchase people. Now, what is happening is that we become more concentrated on our own domain and expertise, wherein we may be able to talk for hours together on water footprint. But if we look at a strategy, as somebody was telling, suppose we are in a company, the company says, the manager says, we would like to have a reduction of 10% of conservation of water, which we have put it as KPI. How, as someone who has worked in a project, do you propose, or what is it that you can offer us to come up with some solution? Maybe right, may not be right, but can you give an idea about this? Now, if you are totally blank, then it becomes a problem in the ESG domain. You become an expert water treatment person, but not an ESG person. That is what I have been emphasizing, that
Right.
you have to have the technical expertise or knowledge based on our education, based on our experience, But overview of the ESG domain, how our projects activities get linked to the bigger dimension of ESG, that linkage must always be understood. This is what is lacking with many people whom I meet. I mean, this is just a example of that. I hope I have been clear.
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So
Thank you.
thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Seriously, as a fresher, I'm learning so many things from your senior level knowledge, sir. Thank you.
Wonderful. Uh, yeah. So anybody would like to add? Yes, Siddesh. So I'll come to you,
Just
Siddesh. Or
Yeah.
before you, Srinidhi wants to add something, please.
just a follow-up question. So, do you feel any AI is taking over this ESG reporting? Murali sir, do you think is there any possibilities in the near future, like in another 1 or 2 years down the line?
No,
Do
it
you
You're
is
feel,
talking
or
about
happening.
have you
artificial
come
intelligence,
across with?
right?
See, it is happening
Mhm.
both in a constructive way and also in a greenwashing way. They use
Okay.
it, for example, AI can be used for a scenario analysis. Looking at various scenarios. Tomorrow, if the temperature goes to 2 degrees, what will happen to my business? Something could be done. Modeling, what they call, this is a
Yes, these
bigger
things are
term,
there.
but a
Mhm.
scenario analysis, right? This is one
Yes.
part of it. But the other thing is that how to manipulate or how to maneuver or disclose things in a way, that is also a strategy which people use with the AI and other tools to come up with a sort of a fantastic report or sounding good and whatnots. But tomorrow, if an accident happens in that company or
Mhm.
any sort of a reputational issue happens in a company, the company is doomed. That is what is happening if we see that, because people are watching. And how is it that such things are happening in a company when they say sustainability report and other things, they paint in colors and everything is good, they say. But how is it that basic thing gets missed out? This is what is the question asked by any stakeholder. So
Okay.
what becomes important is that AI is good. It is going to take over. A lot of things will come, applications and whatnot. But how effectively it is used, is it beneficial? And if we see that today, you can, for example, you can fudge a carbon footprint report today, and you are an exporter to Europe, for example. And when CBAM, the rule comes, the regulation comes, if they detect by any
Mhm.
chance that you have fudged the report, then you are in trouble because of the heavy fine which is going to be levied, reputation, and you become like a black sheep in the process.
Mhm.
This is what is happening everywhere in the market condition. When people buy carbon credit and say we have become neutral, they find
Neutral.
that
Yes.
the whole thing is a hoax, and
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
is not a good credit at all, and they are investing and doing some fudging of information. This is a problem which is there. So what I meant
Okay.
to say, to answer to your question, these are all tools which are there. How usefully and how effectively we use these tools is a matter of the company's commitment, the top management, and as a ESG, because the top management doesn't mean they take all decisions. They are dependent on the ESG professionals. If for the sake of protecting our chair or doing something or showing good, and we do some manipulation with AI, then it is becoming a self-trap in the profession for us. So this is something, a caution, which will have to be taken care of. I
Okay.
hope I am clear.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes.
Srinidhi, I just had a curious question as to what was the reason behind this question as to from which angle? Is it job from the job angle or what?
Yeah, it's we can look at it in both the ways. So we can reduce the burden of all the sectors, and in other way, someone who is interested in doing this ESG analysis, or who is going to apply for ESG analyst role, so he can use these AIs so that he can come up with let's say the AI has given a report generated. It has generated a report. So the person can review that report with the data which the company has given. So then he can compare with those data.
Yeah, so the because I have something to say here because I have a AI background. So basically, if you see, as Murli sir said, right, if you totally rely on AI, right, then
No. I'm
no, no,
not.
no, no.
I'm not.
You mean I'm saying I mean the current world that is happening, right, with current reality that people are generating reports through AI or so the current technology is not yet that sound, the models that are used. So there's something called as hallucination in AI, where the AI hallucinates and it can create something wrong. Okay, it can generate a wrong data point or a wrong report. So unless you are an expert in that field, like as Murli sir said, whether you know the entire ESG spectrum, how things work, and if you rely on an AI report generated report, then you will not be able to detect the mistakes, right? So that is a very scary thing. So all an individual can do now is to build their own knowledge repository and understand how ESG works, how projects work, rather than thinking about what is going to happen if AI comes, because it's not going to be easy as of now because we don't have the technology, even if we feel right. Converting notes is fine, that is still easy, but we still don't know whether the notes are accurate unless someone reviews it, right? Dhananjay will
Yes,
later
yes.
review
That's what I'm telling you. The
Dhananjay
human
will
touch
review.
is
Yeah,
the human touch is necessary at the end of it.
yeah.
So AI is generating all the reports. So someone is going to join this as a ESG analyst. So he knows what are all the needs for this particular company. So suppose for an EV sector, it is different. For manufacturing unit, it is different. For food processing, it is different. So what are the terms they are using it? So all I'm just saying is AI can be used for to generate the report, review process, and should be from the human hand.
Hmm.
This has to be there. I mean, we need to rely on technologies to our betterment. It's not like that. We should all. I mean, we should do all the things by our own. So we can use these technologies to reduce our workforce.
Yeah, and there are few, I guess, softwares are already being developed. One of them I got to know from one person. So they're launching it. So maybe soon in next 3-4 months, we can see such kind of solutions. But yeah, there are many people who are developing such kind of tools in the sense of, let's say, first is collating all the data and producing the report. That's one way. Second is using fine tune, let's say, a database to give accurate results for sustainability related queries. That's the second. Third is,
Yes.
as you
Yes.
said, comparing the different reports. Okay, so let's say the analysts want to check the data set of entire organization. That can be done from the AI tool, and which will give you a summary of what is happening. But still, I would say, yeah, there will be tools, but still human touch, as you said, that is, we cannot replace it. That will be always there. And one concern that I have, and as an introduction to this session, also what I talked about. So we have a lot of data, a lot of information in today's time, but we do now. If I, let's say, no one reads the entire report also, to be frank, right? So how many of us sit there for, let's say, 2 3 days complete, and we read complete entire end-to-end report? That's very rare. And that will still, and in coming time, the kind of reports, the kind of data which is being generated, it's really difficult to consume all that. So let's see how it gets evolved in the time.
Yes, yes. Totally
Right.
agree.
Okay, perfect. So yes, so I'll again come back to Siddesh. Initially, you talked about one basic question after completing all the questions. So I'll come to you. If
No, I think most were covered in the discussion itself regarding,
okay,
but as what I can add to Murli sir's, discussion points which he mentioned, in training, at least we call it as impact objectives, right? So suppose you decide that you want to reduce 10% of the carbon footprint of your organization. That's an impact objective, right?
Mhm.
Then you will decide what all things you will do to reduce that 10%, right?
Right,
So that is what you will do, something what is application level, and then you will try to learn all the skills and all the knowledge theory to achieve that, to understand how to apply. So the knowledge comes at the learning level. So these are the phases, but that impact objective is very important, which very few try to address, that from the, like we have something called as in management called begin with the end in mind, right?
right.
So whatever we are doing, we should have that end in mind, what we are trying to achieve, and go in reverse.
Mhm.
So you learn on the basis of that, and not on the basis ki, okay, after doing, I will do this certification so that I get a job. It should not be like that. It should be like, uh, okay, I'm passionate about this problem statement. This is what I want to achieve. So what are things I should do to achieve that, and then do those courses or do have those skill set to achieve that. That is what I was trying to focus on.
Perfect, perfect. Begin with end in mind. Yeah.
Yeah. It's by, I forgot the author's name. Yeah,
Stephen
but
Covey.
yeah, Stephen Covey, Seven
Yeah.
Habits. Yeah,
7 habits of highly effective people. Yeah. Yes, Bandaru, please. You have raised your hand.
Sir, I think in our WhatsApp group, I have kept a report regarding that. I have searching all these DHC protocols. I'm trying to learn the basic knowledge. What is DHC? What is protocol scope 1, scope 2, scope 3? I'm trying to have posted in it. Can anyone have seen this and give a brief, a small hint or glance for that report, sir? From your end also, it's okay for me. From anyone also, I'm okay. I think someone have seen it, sir.
So you are saying the GHG emission calculator that you had shared. You are talking about that, right? I'm sorry. Today I'm facing some issue with the audio.
no, same. No, from I think at Bandaru side there's some audio issues. Bandaru, can you just write on chat, or at least see if you can reframe the
Sir,
question?
I'm audible right now.
Yes.
Yeah. The thing is that I have posted a GHG calculator in our WhatsApp group, sir. If anyone suggests me, the thing is that is this practice in every industry or any company, or that is the basic knowledge that I should aware that this kind of scope 1, scope 2, scope 3 calculations will be done. For my basic knowledge, I should understand. I have posted in the group, sir.
Okay, so I would request everyone, if anybody would like to add your insights on GHG emissions calculator, if you have done it, so you can maybe briefly uh, and just uh, you can guide.
Yeah, there are hundreds of calculators available uh,
Yeah.
in the website, but the only thing it looks interesting for the beginner. And yeah, as Murali sir was telling, the basics is very important. Rather than you should refer it and create your own calculator based on your industries and nature. That is what the guidance is. Don't copy as it is from the calculator. Take the understand your business activity and take the data sources from different and create your own calculator.
Right. And the reason is very simple. I'll share that on screen. And as you can see, info and resources, and there are disclaimer also given over there. If you can see information and sources, so these are the sources from where this data is coming. So you need to check whether that is agreeable or that is acceptable in your industry, the part of world where you are working. So accordingly, you need to design it. And yeah, so that's it from my side.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful.
I have asked a lot of questions to you.
Oh, questions are good. Chalo, great. So it was a wonderful discussion for today also. And we'll stop here for now. But before stopping, if anybody would like to add any comment or anything, the forum is yours. You can add. Okay, all right. So I'll take that as a no, and we will connect again next week. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Thanks all.
Thank you, Dhananjay. Thanks.
So thank you. Thank you. Thank you.